Welcome friends to 7th module of AI. We will be discussing problems with search methods and solutions in this particular module. We have seen so many search methods, we have seen unguided search methods, we have seen guided search methods, we have seen search methods which were generic, which we have used, we have talked about search methods which are used in recent times like variable descent and simulated tunneling and all that. Though these search methods are quite good, there are some problems with the search methods. Sometimes a designer has to deal with those problems additionally. We will be discussing about them right now. One important problem, one typical problem that every search method has to deal with is called the type of heuristic function. Some heuristic functions only look at the local values and give you decision based on those local values. Sometimes that result into local maxima. Compared to that, some other heuristic functions are quite global in the sense that you give a heuristic value which is globally correct. In that sense, you do not fall into local maxima, you just reach to goal. We will look at one typical example here and then we will move on to other cases. There are a lot of other problems. For example, whether the search is assisted by human or not, whether the search method is to be interrupted, you require to interact with that search method and so on and so forth. So, this particular module is about those problems and some solutions to them, okay. But anyway, they are not general problems, you may encounter them, you may not encounter them based on the problems that you are dealing with. Okay, let us begin. Okay, the first thing, we need to change or modify search methods to adapt to situations. Not every situation is the same, not every problem is similar. You need to adapt, you need to tune, you need to adjust to it. Okay, and the first thing is dependency on heuristic function, which I have already told you. Okay, the other problem is whether you need to provide explanation. Now, search method, that is one more problem. See, if search method is traveling in a direction and gets a solution, for example, it travels in a search graph and finds out that you have malaria, but then the explanation must be given in human understandable format. If the search process has not followed human way of doing it, the search process will not be able to explain human why that malaria. So, that is explanation. The search process is highly related to the explanation, because explanation is basically going back to in the same path which you have used to explore. Okay. There is one more thing, what if there are different components of the problem and they are interrelated, some part is more critical than the other, and how you handle that. And it is possible. In fact, we are going to see one last search method. It is not basically a search method, but it is something that you can always add to make sure that the search process becomes little better. Okay. So, this is pretty simple, try multiple options and become the best. That is called iterative hill climbing. We will see what that is. Okay. This is what the agenda of this. We will begin with the local and global heuristic function. I have already told you that there is a relation to the heuristic function chosen. If you choose a local function, you are likely to fall for local maxima. If you do not, if you pick up a global one, it is not like, okay. A global function is always better. For that, let us pick up a domain called Bloxword domain. A Bloxword domain is a very simple domain where there is a plane surface and some blocks, and blocks are always numbered, so you can separate them out, okay. Only one block you can move at a time, kind of a kindergarten problem. It is possible to put one block on top of the other, you can only move one block at a time, or you can remove a block on the top and put it on the surface or put it elsewhere on some other top. Now, these are the only operations allowed. You may think that is pretty simple problem, it is not. It is quite useful for robots. For example, if you have unmanned space shuttle and you have a robot to manage that, if robot has to stack things or unstack things or pick up a box and put it elsewhere or something, he has to actually do all this. So, it is not that simple, it is basically a Bloxword problem. A Bloxword problem is one arrangement of block is to be converted into some other arrangement of a block using the simple rules, okay. Here is an example. The example is, you can see that there are two blocks resting on the surface A and E. The rest F, G, D, C, B, they are stacked on top of each other. That is our initial state, and what we want to have is a final state where A is resting on B, then is resting on C, and so forth till G. Now, this is a simple Bloch's world problem. Now, I want a solution to this problem. So, for that I think of a heuristic function. The heuristic function, or before I look at the heuristic function, sorry, let us look at the initial and final state. The initial state which says on dash A, so A is on the surface, on dash B, that E is on the surface, on dash F, F is on the surface, on F G, G is on F, and so on. Okay, so now this describes the initial state. See, A is on the surface, E is on the surface, F is on the surface, G is on F, and D is on F, and so on. Okay, the final state is simpler. G is on the surface, F is on the on G, E is on F, and so on. Which, okay, so this is what I want to achieve. Now, what are my rules? Okay, sorry, before that let us let us look at the state space. Now, what is the state space? We will just say that all blocks are either has a block on top of them or are free. So, for all x, y, x belongs to A to G or surface, y belongs to A and G, okay, because surface a block can rest on, but surface cannot rest on a block. So, there is a difference. X belongs to A to G and then surface, y only can belong to A and G, A to G. So, what do you have? On x, y or free x. So, x is either resting on some other block or it is free. Now, that is the state space. Now, what are the rules? As I said, simple, two rules. On x, y and free y. So, y is resting on x and there is nothing resting on y. What you can do is you can move x and you can move y and put it on surface. The other one, free x and free y, then you can put y on x, and now x is not free. Okay, so that's these are two rules. Okay, now let us look at a heuristic function. The heuristic function is again simple. If a block is resting on what it should, you get 1 point. If block is not resting on the block it should or whatever it should, you get -1. So, if you look at that, the initial state what you have is, now let us go back, it is -1 for A, -1 for E, because they are not resting on what they should, -1 for F and -1 for G and -1 for D. Okay. Similarly, for B, for both B and E fetches H, okay, 1 H. See, so here A should be resting on B, it is not, so -1, E should be resting on B, which is not, so -1, and so on and so forth. So, the total comes out to be -3. The final state, each block is resting on what it should be, the total comes out to be 7. Now do not look at the figure after comma, look at the figure before comma. I have 5 possible states. From the previous state, there are 5 possible states. One, the state number 1, I am picking up A and putting on top of B. Second one, I am picking up E and putting on top of B. Third one, I am picking up B and putting on top of E. Fourth one, I am picking up B and putting on top of A. The fifth one, I am putting the B on top of the surface. If I calculate the heuristic value, you may do it yourself, we get -1, -3, -5, -5 and -5, which is best state E, okay, the state 1 -1. Now, I try with that, there are 3 possibilities. I put E back, that will get me -3, that is a parent node. Actually, I should not have explored this, but anyway I am doing it. State 2, I am putting A on top of E, which again yields -3, and putting E back on that thing. Now, that will yield -1. Now, that I am ending up in local maxima, that is the problem. Okay. Now, because I am using a local heuristic function, I am getting this problem. Okay. We will take up the second heuristic function, which is global now, little better than the previous one. What we do is, we will not only the first one, we know that a block is resting on something it should, we will give 1, is not then -1, we will not do that. What we do is, if a block is resting on the complete structure which is not correct, we will give -1 for each one of them. Okay. So, if a block is resting on something, but then later on the lower part it is not, then it will not give you marks, it will give you negative marks actually. Okay. So that way you're doing it in a different way. Now you're looking at complete global structure and decide how good or bad the move is based on the complete structure rather than what is beneath you and what is up. Okay. If the stack contains even one block out of place, will give negative point for all. Okay. So we will need entire structure to be correct, and if the entire structure is not correct, we will give negative marks. Okay. So for example, we will take the initial state value A, which is resting on surface, which should not, the -1, E also -1, -5 it is resting on the surface, it is -1, G is resting on F, both of them are wrong. So we will add -2 for G, -3 for D, -4 for C, -5 for B, and so on, making it -17. So because the structure underneath is not correct, we will give all minus. And for the final state it is 28, and if you try doing it like this, what you get from the first state, you get state 1, the heuristic function value now changes to -22, state 2 also -22, 3 also -14, 4 also -14, and 5 is -12. Now you can see that if you look at all these states yourself, you can easily see that state 5 is definitely better, because it is moving the incorrect structure apart. And if you continue, you will see that you will not end up in local maxima anywhere, because it will tell you to break everything apart, and then you will be able to construct. Okay, that is the right way of doing it. Okay, so that is the difference between global and local heuristic function. What is the difference? Okay, let us recap the difference between the global and the local heuristic function. The local heuristic function does not consider whether the supporting block contains the correct stack, complete support structure or not. The second one allows complete support structure, because it looks at everything together, it is global. Okay, it is not only looking at the local situation, it looks at the complete global situation. Okay, and it prefers the incorrect structures to be broken, and that is the reason why it is considered to be good. Okay, our simple conclusion is that you should use global heuristic function. Okay, it is so easy for our hill climbing problem, it is pretty simple. This Bloch's world problem, it is pretty simple to do so, but it is not easy for most domains. It is very hard to judge whether the heuristic function that we are discussing about is global, local, unless you have that correct vision about what global attributes are. And most of the complex domain, it is really hard. But anyway, this is an important thing. So whenever you are choosing the moral of the story is, whenever you are choosing a heuristic function for a search method that you are using, try to get a heuristic function which is global. At least try to see if you are considering global attributes in calculation of that heuristic function. Okay, there is something else which also happens. You can see if you are using a local heuristic function, this is the other problem that we comes across. So given the starting state, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different children, and you may be surprised to find that if you use the local heuristic function, all these children has heuristic value as -7. You will be surprised, all of them are -7. What does that mean? That means that the heuristic that we are using is useless. Okay. It's very similar to our old breadth-first search or something else. We are not using heuristic at all. So we are using a bad heuristic. One of the problems that we comes across is this, and why it's called Plato, because everything looks plain. Okay, everything around. I look at surrounding. I got all of them as -7. I can't choose the best one. That's why it's called Plato. A similar this thing is called Rij. Okay. Okay, if you draw a graph, the region looks like a plateau, so its name. Okay, it nullifies the power of this thing. So what you do, in fact, you will have to randomly choose some moves and try, and you have to go in any direction randomly, which is basically a breadth first search or depth first search or something, or use some other criteria, use some other function. But then there is no real solution to this problem. It's basically the problem with the heuristic function that you will have to change. One more problem is called Rij. Now Rij is like everything surrounding is not good. Only one path to the solution, but then it's quite the slope is quite steep. So only one direction to go with slope that steep, that is also hard. Anyway, sometimes we enter into this problem only because our heuristic function is not very good, and sometimes we cannot even judge. We will have to use such heuristic function, then you will have to manage this thing. So this is the other problem that search processes face. In fact, there is one more problem which is called frame problem. It is called problem of side effects. For example, I am a robot and I am told to pick up a box and move it somewhere else. Now, should I store everything else, or should I only store the information about that box or location about that box? The common sense tells us that the ceiling is there at the same place, the window is also there at the same place, the sofa is also at the same place, the sofa or the chair or the other things, other objects, other things there in the room, they are there. Why should I worry about that location? My search process should not look at all possible things. If I do that, the problem is, suppose if I have a robot which moves across a room, and at every step there is a new node generated, state space node. It has to record everything. For example, ceiling is above floor, and chair is at location X, the window is position Y, and there is a door, and so on and so forth. It takes up so much of memory, and you can't go further, because remember, you may need to go to a place, and when you find a dead end, you will have to come back and try some other path. So you can't forget these states, okay. So you will have to store them in the memory. Unfortunately, if the memory is a limit, and memory is a limit in most cases, you will not be able to do that. So you won't store, and you won't like to store everything in a state space. When you won't like to store everything in a state space, the problem is that you will have to choose what to store and what not to. For example, in this case, if you are moving a box called A, why should you worry about box C? But the problem is, if you are not storing everything else, and if unfortunately C is resting on top of A, when you are moving A, the locations of C also would change. If you are not doing it, the search process results into an erroneous state, okay, incorrect state. That is something we would like to avoid. Okay. As I said, the robot should not remember about ceiling and the floor and whatever, but it has to remember about this side effects. So what to store, what not to, and how to make sure the side effects do not hamper our search process, do not result into incorrect states, is something which one should check. Okay, and the next slide actually talks about the problem. If everything's locations are stored at each step, we need more memory for each node. Each node processing also increases, because lot of information you need to process all of them. It takes more time. Okay, we need to only store information about objects that we need. That is something that you can say, but then the problem is, how do we decide what we need and what we do not? That is the frame problem. In fact, human mind is quite capable to do it, okay. Think of it, while you coming to your college or office, how many vehicles you come across? Do you remember? If you are not, your mind is capable to handle it. You know what is to be stored and what is not. But how could you make your computer doing it? Is hard, and that is what the frame problem is about. Okay, I have already talked about these 3 boxes. Okay, the other one is the problem decomposability and dependency. If it is a case that a problem has multiple components, if the problem, the very simple case is every component is independent of each other, you can solve each one independently, get all of them together and solve it, great. But in some cases it is not. For example, I am going to Mumbai, I reside in Ahmedabad and like to go to Mumbai. What should I do first? In fact, my search starts from my home to railway station, Ahmedabad railway station, then Ahmedabad railway station to Mumbai railway station, and from Mumbai railway station to the place where I would like to go. Now, I will not start from the initial state. Should I? No. What I do is, in fact, what all of us do, is to first book the ticket from Ahmedabad to Mumbai. I am not starting from initial state, I am starting from some intermediate state, and I am reaching to some other intermediate state. Why? And then probably I will decide how to go from my house to Mumbai station and so on and so forth. In fact, I will not choose the optimum path, I will choose the optimum time also. For example, my train time is 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is, if my house to railway station, the base time is to 5 o'clock in the morning, I will not start at 5 o'clock, I will start at 1 o'clock or something like that. I will choose a suboptimal path. I will choose the path which is most critical first. Okay. So, the search process in this case should not begin from initial state, should begin from some intermediate stage, reach to some intermediate state based on the criticality of the problem and the dependency. And this problem can be extended further. For example, you are going to Singapore and you have a flight from Mumbai. Now, you won't book your tickets from Ahmedabad railway station to Mumbai railway station. You will book your tickets from Mumbai to Singapore first, and then based on that you decide the train from Ahmedabad to Mumbai, and then probably from Singapore to the place where you like to visit, and then probably you will decide your mode of transport from your house to that thing. So, your search process actually traverses in a very I would say, will not travel in a straightforward case. It will go, it will solve the most critical part first, then some other part, then some other part, and so on and so forth. So, point is, search process in case of search processes where such components are there, where the criticality is different, you may not need to, you may not follow the same process that we have seen so far here. Okay, critical part of the problems are always solved first. Okay, so the basic algorithm that we have seen so far, all algorithms, we start with the initial state and then we say that we will reach to final state. All basic forms of those algorithms need to be changed, need to be modified if this criticality issues is to be considered. Okay, one more important characteristic which is very important here in search process is whether we need an interaction with the user. For example, I am proving a theorem. I write a program which proves a theorem. I provide something and the program comes back saying, yippee, I have solved, I have proved the theorem. Is it okay? Now, we will not accept it. What we want is the program to give a complete proof. Great, okay. But then sometimes the program may not be able to do it. What program probably would need is give us the initial. For example, in most of the mathematical theorems that I have seen, we will have to actually start with some contradiction. Say that this is true, and then we will go and prove that according to the condition this is not true, because okay, so suppose we have to prove x, so we start with not x and say that not x is incorrect, so x is correct. So, if we give something like that, it is called the initial part, then the proof can be generated. Okay. That is one thing. In fact, I have read about one more thing, a robot which help the doctors in surgery, especially thigh bone surgery, and the robot hands are pretty, they are far more stable than humans do. They are able to dig hole far better and then able to do that surgery in a far better controlled way. But then they cannot start surgery on their own, they cannot open thigh bone on their own. In fact, the humans do it, then make sure that the robot hand reaches there, and then robot hand drills that hole and performs the latter part of the surgery. So, point is, human interaction is pretty required. Not only that, think about an example where a diagnosis of some sort is happening. A doctor is interacting with the patient, the system is interacting with the patient, and the system is suggesting something to the patient. Not only that, the system, the computer system, the AI program which is dealing with the patient also suggests something. It is quite possible that the doctor, the human also goes through that part, in fact informs this thing, the assistant program, that this is not good, that is not good, the medicines that you have advised, and you can see that the patient is allergic to such medicines, so it is not good to advise, and so on and so forth. So, kind of interaction which improves the functioning of the system is many times required. In that case, the search algorithm, which actually the next node that you explore based on the interaction that you have with the doctor or whatever human that you have. So, this is one more example. There are a lot of other places, a lot of other AI programs where such interaction may be required. So, it is basically an independent search. We have so far talked about independent search, but in real cases a lot of times you have assisted search. Okay. A thigh bone surgery and proving theorem I have already talked about. Incorporating human interaction part to decide the direction of search is pretty important in such cases. The other one is searching for explanation. Sometimes just finding a solution is not enough. I have already told you that if the program says hippie, I have proved the theorem is not worth. You will have to tell the program to let the complete proof to be drawn on the screen, so we can see that it is correct. Okay. An expert system dealing with humans, look at this. It is possible that you get either of the message displayed on the screen. The first one, the value of XYT something 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 is above 100, so you have malaria. Will you accept that? You don't. But the second one is already reported that you have fever, you feel cold for no obvious reason, you had weakness and you have low level of blood cell count, all this indicates that you have malaria, probably you will accept. Okay, why this happens? Because the first one is dealing with the situation in a different way. It is not searching the search space using human understandable format. If it is doing that, in fact, the second explanation is possible. It is possible to have two different alternatives for searching anything. Sometimes you have one which is faster, better, but then not understandable by human, and the other one is slower, but it is possible to be understood by human. If explanation is required, the second form should be chosen. So, search methods, when you are choosing nodes, when you are searching the search space, if explanation is required, you must follow human understandable format. That is the other issue. Okay, the last point before we complete this module is called iterative hill climbing. The hill climbing process we have already seen, but the hill climbing you stuck up at some place. Now, in most cases it is because you start from a wrong place. Usually hill climbing begins with a random state in the search this thing. For example, there is a flat search space with some local maxima and minima. You may start with one point and you reach to the global maxima, the answer. If you start from some other place, you end up at local minima. Okay, so that is quite possible. So, how to make sure that your solution is independent of the start state? One particular solution is called iterative hill climbing, where what you do is you start from one state and try. If you stuck up local minima, no problem. You start from the other, try, third, fourth. You try from a few different start states, and then at the end pick up what you get the best. Okay. Why this is useful? Because what you get is, because you are choosing those points randomly, probably you will get the answer, that is one thing, and it is what the solution that you get, the answer that you get is independent of the starting state. That is the other advantage that you have. So, that is what is used by some search algorithms. But anyway, this example is not only about hill climbing, you can even choose something else. Okay. You may choose some other method, and that method you may try like this. You may start the algorithm with different random nodes and do it. So, this is basically an idea. So, one more that is what you can do with search methods, and it is like this: choose one random point, the search process is over, return the best solution, apply hill climbing and get a solution, add a solution to the solution array and again go back. So, at the end you choose the best one. Okay. So, that is the end of this module, but let us see what we have seen in this particular module. We have seen some problems with search process. First one, which heuristic function is good? Some heuristic functions are based on local information, some heuristic functions are based on global information. The heuristic functions which are based on local information tend to entangle themselves into local maxima, and it is better to choose a heuristic function which takes global attributes into account, so much so that it is not possible for the search process to stuck up at local maxima. We have seen one example for Bloch's world problem. Bloch's world problem contained two functions, one where when the block is resting on an incorrect block you avoid -1, when a block is resting on a correct block you avoid +1. That is local, because you are only looking at the local context. And the other one is called global. Global heuristic function not only look at the next the block which is resting on, but the entire structure. If the entire structure is correct, you are avoiding points, but otherwise you avoid 1 point for every block it is resting on. The complete stack will give -1. And we have seen that the case number 1 you stuck up in local maxima or even plateau, but the second case you will not end up in local maxima. We have also seen cases where the search can be assisted, human interaction can help search process to progress further. We have also seen the case where the search process is helped by the assistance, like for example the thigh bone surgery in the case of the doctor. We have also seen later the iterative hill climbing process, where hill climbing process is repeated multiple times based on random starting nodes, and eventually you pick up the best answer that you have got. Okay, that ends our module number 7. Thank you.